Welcome back to Real Legends Podcast. I'm Bo.
I'm Dan.
And tonight's movie is The Burbs, starring Tom Hanks and Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher's in this.
This is a childhood classic that we're revisiting tonight. Dan had never seen it before, right?
Nope.
And I had seen it all growing up, but I haven't seen it really in years and years. Before we get into our initial thoughts, Dan, I have seen a few interesting things on the interwebs, and feel free to chime in as you will with any movie news that you have, but there seems to be a few new movies that potentially look interesting being distributed by Angel Studios. Now, we've talked about one of these, Young Washington, coming out on July 3rd, which I'm really stoked to see.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I forgot we were doing a podcast. Yes, it looks sick.
And then I shared this Brink of War trailer with you the other day. Looks like it could be an interesting film.
Yeah, about a cool negotiation.
Yeah, and then these other two movies, Angel and the Bad Man. So this is starring Zachary Levi, which, if you know him from, like, I guess he was in Shazam, and he was in like a TV show that was really popular that I can't think of the name of. But what's interesting about this is he was on a podcast like last year talking about how he wanted to go and start like a separate studio system outside of Hollywood. And I need to look into this more, this Angel and the Bad Man, but I don't know maybe if this is one of his first films where he wanted to get outside of the Hollywood system and make movies. But it looks like he's got a movie coming out, so maybe this is the beginnings of that pursuit, and kind of interested to see if he's able to pull off anything worth watching.
Yeah.
Outside the Hollywood system. But then there's this other one that kind of looks kind of in between, but I'm surprised, starring Owen Wilson as like the supporting actor, and then Alan Ritchson, who people may know from the Jack Reacher TV show. Kind of a weird concept, taking like a heart for a girl that needs it for a transplant, but I guess it's worth a lot of money, so people are trying to intercept the heart so they can sell it on the black market, apparently. Wow. Kind of a weird premise. I'm a big fan of Owen Wilson, so that's really what caught my attention. So I don't know, we'll see. But 4 movies coming out this year that I kind of am surprised that we're getting. I just didn't really know we were getting a bunch of movies outside the Hollywood system, but apparently we are.
Yeah, I mean, it's been years that people have been talking about the importance of starting alternatives from traditional media. Like, you just look at how many people listen to podcasts for their news now. Like, they don't even trust mainstream media. And then I think the same thing is the case with movies, and Angel Studios is definitely outside of that. And I think that more and more people are watching their movies, like David and then Young David, and a lot of other shows that Angel Studios have come out with have done really well. So it makes sense they're making more because they've made a lot of money already.
Right. And from my understanding, Angel is more of like a distribution company. So like they help people who have made movies get an audience or get it into theaters, and like, right, because if you make a movie, that doesn't mean you have anywhere to show it or distribute it onto like a platform, like a streaming service, but they like, hey, we have a streaming service and we can help you get into theater. I don't know how many movies they actually are involved in, and I need to do some research on this, like with like pre-production and getting the movie actually made. I'd be interested to look into that. I think I will, and I'll kind of report back next week or next podcast for that, because they're interesting me more and more with stuff they're coming out with.
I'm super stoked. I've actually kind of felt the same way. I'm like, dang, they're coming out with another one? Another Angel Studios movie? This is crazy.
Right. I know there's movies being made outside the Hollywood system, but man, time we can get something new that's not full of messaging, or maybe just not controlled by Hollywood, like to the detriment of, like, you know, look at what Disney did with Star Wars. It's like they botched and butchered that.
They still are.
And they're still doing it, yeah. So I'd love to see independent people make movies, and
me too,
make some good movies, hopefully.
Yeah, and I think that the premises of all these movies look really cool, and they're all like masculine characters who are doing masculine things, and that's 100% my kind of movie.
Agreed. Same here. All right. Well, unless you have any other thoughts or things you've seen, then we are going to just jump into our spoiler-free thoughts of The Burbs.
Speaking of masculinity,
I'll let you take it away with
talk about The
thoughts.
Burbs. This is a dumb movie. I hate to say it. It's kind of funny sometimes, but it's mostly just dumb. Those are my initial thoughts.
That's all we got.
That's about it.
Yeah, it's been years since I've seen this. Yeah, it's pretty cheesy.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely an 80s movie. It doesn't take itself super seriously, and sometimes to a detriment.
Yeah.
With like the zoom in and out, screaming and things, and just the weird one-liners from neighbors and things that don't really land. I will say there are some parts where I laughed out loud, and some of them were more just like, what would you say, physical comedy? Like,
yeah,
I'll get to it, I guess, in the spoilers
of
this.
That was definitely the funniest part for me too.
But I grew up watching this movie, and one of my good friends, shout out to Kevin, we used to, like, in junior high, like, watch this movie after school or like on weekends or something while we ate Reaper floats or chips and salsa, and just a good old time as like a 13-year-old kid when you're watching 80s movies.
Yeah, you're not really thinking about how good something is. You're just doing it for the vibe.
Yeah, and it's just like the little things, like the guy falling off the roof or the neighbor kid checking out the neighbor's wife.
Yeah,
it's just like fun stuff for a teenage boy, but
it's true.
Yeah. So I guess that's pretty much it for initial thoughts. If you haven't seen The Burbs, I guess stay tuned for our review, and then you can decide if you'd like to go check it out. Maybe you're a lover of The Burbs, and shout out some of your favorite things, comment, send us a message, whatever, and tell us why or why not you love this movie.
And include your address so I can send a mob to your house for liking such a bad movie.
We will permanently ban you. No, just kidding. I'm not giving away anything yet because I haven't given my score yet and things, but we'll see. So yeah, let's just go ahead and move into spoiler thoughts of The Burbs. And I'll start us out with just the opening of this movie, zooming down from the globe into a suburban neighborhood where it's the mundane life of, well, is it the start with the mundane life?
Yeah,
or is it the creepy house?
It's the scary scene where he takes a step onto the lawn and then like the wind starts and then
yeah, creepy house. Neighbor goes to check out what's going on, and from there we see it's like kind of fantastical in a way where he goes to check out the creepy neighbor's house, what noise is going on, and like the wind blows and lightning cracks and leaves rustle and spooky noises happen. And that pretty much sums up the entire movie right there. It looks like it's kind of going to be a normal movie, and it's kind of a wacky movie.
Yeah, it's a really interesting combination between like trying to be funny, but then also trying to deal with like a really messed up, scary topic. Like when he starts like reading the book about like Satanists, it's like, geez, this is like brutal to watch.
Yeah.
And there's the scenes on the TV that are like disgusting and horrid. And then he has that disgusting nightmare that's like, oh my gosh, what am I watching?
Right. And then there's also like the neighbor Art telling the young neighbor Ricky about how there actually was a neighbor guy who murdered his family.
Yeah.
And people discovered it because his house started to stink from the dead bodies decomposing.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's this weird mix of like comedy and horror.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I did not like it. It was like, you can't really mix those two. They don't enter like the same kind of part in your brain. You can't be like freaked out and like feeling super nervous and also like laughing because someone fell through a porch. It's just such a weird idea for a movie to make a horror movie, but also try to make it like goofy and slap happy and very like 80s style with like the kids who are like, yeah, man, far out. Oh, I'm getting the pizza, man.
I feel like this time is come and gone where you could make a movie like this. I mean, because like we watched Big Trouble in Little China. And I'm not comparing the two necessarily, but because I love Big Trouble in Little China.
I liked it much better than this one, for sure.
But like that was a time where it's like, let's make a fantasy kung fu action comedy movie. Yeah. And it's like, okay, that sounds amazing.
Tom Hanks' character is also like super erratic. Like I never knew like what he was about to do. Like was he gonna be like chill and understanding, or was he gonna freak out and like start pouting like a child?
Right. Him and his wife really go at it.
Yeah,
and like, it's just like, oh my god,
their dynamic is so unhealthy.
Like, this is not a good marriage on display right now.
No, it's not.
Oh wow. Yeah, I can't say what I was gonna say actually about just Tom, just go home to your wife. That's all I'll say. Just go home to your wife and enjoy your time. I guess more than anything, if you want to know more about the premise or like what happens in the story, I don't know how much we'll get into that, but I want to definitely get into like this idea of being suspicious of your neighbor because they're different than you, or like weird, or like odd, or they're not social. Question that it raises in my mind is that kind of a cultural thing in America where we have our tidy little rows of houses, and if you're the oddball, then you're kind of ostracized and looked upon as like potentially a threat or potentially dangerous. Because Tom Hanks has his whole little monologue at the end going crazy where he's like, it wasn't them, like they're not the crazy ones. We are. We're peeking over their fence. We're watching them from our porches. We're not going to say hi to them or befriend them. We're the weirdos, not them.
I think that overall message is fine if at the end of the movie he didn't go into the ambulance and try to stab him with a needle and drive the ambulance into someone's house. Because there has to be a line somewhere, Bo.
There has to be a line somewhere.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Say what you're saying.
Like you're like, well, if you're a little different, you should, you're ostracized. Well, it's like, well, if you're killing people,
no, I'm
and burying them in the backyard and have a massive furnace and turning out all of the lights because you're burning people and stuffing your trunk with skulls. Yeah, you should be ostracized.
Well, good. I'm glad. This is what I want to get at. Actually, because okay, let me lay this out for you. This is exactly why I want to talk about this, because I got into kind of not a debate, but a debate kind of thing with some people in my neighborhood. One person made the statement that people are going to be different and that's okay. And I was like, okay, but what about if they're so different, it's causing problems?
Right.
Right. What if they're so different that like
they play music until 3 a.m?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the example I actually brought up to the neighbor was like, okay, how do you reconcile that with Captain Moroni when people were so different in his city? They wanted to usurp the laws, and Moroni said, no. If you don't take up the covenant of liberty, we're going to kill you.
Right. It's the idea between diversity and assimilation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, diversity is a good thing. And it's like, well, until you have people that are going into England and they're raping people because it's part of their quote unquote culture, then it's like, well, maybe they should assimilate a little bit to British culture. Then it's like, well, then they're not their culture anymore. You're making them into what you are. And it's like, yeah, there is a very interesting balance between assimilation and diversity of thought. Because like, you don't want people to have to abandon what they believe. But at the same time, there are like certain cultural things that are not acceptable. For like, in this case, like the movie, I think like having a massive furnace in your basement that shuts down all the power and is really loud is unacceptable as a neighbor. It just is. And like, as different, quote unquote, or as nice as they are, there are lines that you just shouldn't cross as a neighbor. I think of one, like, a friend of mine has neighbors who keep their garage open and they always have music playing all the time. All the time. And sometimes my friend wants to read a book or go to sleep or take a nap and this music is blasting. So it's one of those things that's like, I love that they're my neighbors, but I wish that they would act differently and more respectful to me. So I get what you're talking about.
Right. And so here I'm going to kind of play the devil's advocate of what someone would argue against me, which would they would say like, well, you don't need to personally take action. You could just call the police and say they're being disruptive. And I was like, yes, that's one time where that's something that you could do to like involve other people and take action.
Yeah.
But there's still action being taken. It's not just like, well, you're different. I have a different opinion. Oh, well, you're different.
Right.
Let's just all live with it. There's still action being taken to do something about it.
Sure.
And then the argument I also made in this kind of debate discussion was there's going to be times where you have to do something personally. Like there is going to be times, and it's not just an example of like in war times when you're the commander of armies, like there's going to be times in your life where you have to take action to protect your family, protect yourself, or even less scaled, right? Like we take another example, right? Like Korihor. It's like this guy was teaching people to disbelieve in their faith, their religion, but he wasn't breaking any laws, but he was leading people away from Christ. And so if you're living with someone that was like that in your city or neighborhood, it's like, would you stand up against that person in ways like that aren't physical, right? Like, would you debate them?
Right.
Would you try to persuade people to be like, no, that he's wrong? Like, would you do something that involves you taking action?
Yeah.
And so that was kind of like the debate we had.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't really get to wrap it up and finish it.
I think it's a really good one, though. And I think it's one that needs to be had because there is such a fine line between being completely passive, like probably what this person was saying, like just let everything go, and then being like way too restrictive on like who's allowed to come in and stuff.
Sure.
Because like that is basically the debate, is like how strict do you be about how like, the people around you act. And there definitely is a very big, it's not black and white, it's a lot of gray, but there definitely needs to be like lines that we can all just agree like are not okay.
Yeah. And to be clear, I'm 100% like, I want to build my neighborhood, my community, be friends with people, love everyone. Like that's something I'm actively trying to develop and bring to my society as someone who serves, someone that looks out for people, someone that's welcoming, like come into my home, come eat with me. Like I'll share anything I have with you. But I'm really getting sick of the attitude where people bring this up, where they say, well, Jesus said to love everyone, or Jesus loved everyone. So why are you saying this can't be this way, or this can't happen that way? And I'm just like, dude, have you read the Bible?
Yeah.
Like, have you read when a woman came to him and said, hey, like, I want to learn from you and learn about the gospel. Like, I want to receive things from you. And he's like, she's a Gentile woman. And he says, it is not fit to give the meat of the children to the dogs. So what is he saying?
Yeah.
I'm not giving it to you. Does that sound like the loving Jesus everyone says? Why are you being this way? Why are you saying there's standards or restrictions or circumstances? Like, well, he had them.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you look at the classic example of everybody uses is the woman who was caught in adultery, and they all come and they're trying to stone her, which obviously, as we all agree, is crazy. And I'm glad that that's obviously like, we can all agree that women shouldn't be stoned. At least we can in the West until give it a couple of years. Who knows? But he says, you guys should be judging her. But then when he has an opportunity to speak with her, he says, sin no more.
Mm-hmm.
He says, he sets a definitive line that says, okay, I still love you. You still are, a person with infinite value.
Yeah.
But I want you to do better.
Right.
And so I do think that it's...
you did is still wrong.
Yeah. That there definitely needs to be like a line, and like saying I'm a peacemaker, but just avoiding all conflict is not really being a peacemaker. You need to actually stand up for what you believe. But that's really the trick, is like, how can you be a peacemaker and also somebody who holds on to very firm beliefs and defends them? And I think that that's really the struggle that we all have to go through.
Yeah.
Is trying to find the right balance between being kind, loving, but also holding firm to what we believe and inviting others to do better.
Amen. I think for me, at least speaking from my perspective, is being in control of your emotions, not getting emotional about whatever the thing is, right? Being clear-headed. And also not having enmity to your fellow man, right? Like, it really comes down to part of that is like what pride is enmity towards your fellow man. Like, I think if you can work on having good emotional health and having love for your fellow man and not enmity, then that's a place where you can be, where you can be loving, welcoming to everyone and accepting of their flaws or their differences, but also not over tolerant and standing up for what's right and what's true. And even at times what's just.
Yeah, when you look at when Jesus was resurrected and he came back and he was visiting with his apostles, he wasn't like, you know what, you guys can totally stay here and fish. Just fish all you want. It's not a big deal. You guys seem happy fishing. Just stay here. Mm-hmm. He was like,
what are you doing?
Leave your nets behind and do what I told you to do.
Right. Yeah.
Like, he calls us to a better life. He calls us to action. He calls us to improve. He calls us to do things with our lives, not to just be idle or to go back to our preferred sin.
Right. Another example is, he's teaching one day and the scripture says, and many turned away and walked no more with them. Mm-hmm. And he didn't go, oh, I'm sorry, did I offend somebody? Like, please come back. Like, I love everyone. So please don't, like, if you don't like what I said, we can work around it. We can figure something out. Like, my bad. Like, I love you. Please come back. He's like, no. He said it. People left. And he was like, well, I guess they don't want to accept truth and they don't want to accept this standard. But he also, on my example too, he said to his disciples, right, will you also go away? Mm-hmm. And they made the choice of saying, no, like, I want to be with what you have to offer, even though it's a higher way of living and a harder way of living than maybe I could if I just went with the masses.
Yeah, true.
So like this movie reminded me of all that, right? With the whole like looking at your neighbor and being like, well, when do you stand up and do something and say something, and when do you just cower under like, well, be accepting of everyone and it's okay if people are different.
Right. It's true, because it's interesting because like the wives of the men were very like, don't go in there, ignore them, don't worry about it. But then the husbands were very adamant that like something was going on. And then Tom Hanks' character was kind of back and forth on it. And eventually he was vindicated that it was a threat. And like you think about it, it's like if they had been more aware of what was going on, then maybe they could have saved their neighbors who the Cossacks actually killed.
Right, because they say earlier in the movie like, oh, I don't think I ever came over to this house when so and so lived here. Mm-hmm. And that kind of goes back to what I was just going to say with the current neighbors, the Kopecks, but now also the previous neighbors. Maybe you should actually like go over and be involved and know who your neighbors are. But also if there's a problem or a threat, like you can assess it.
Yeah. I think that kind of goes back to what we were talking about too, though, is that the best way to actually like show people that you actually love them is to be with those who you disagree with and to show Christ-like love to those individuals. Because there is a point, right, where you say, okay, this isn't acceptable anymore. But the only way that you can tell somebody something is unacceptable and for them to actually receive it in a positive way is if they feel like you love them.
Yeah.
Like Christ had every justification according to the law back when the woman was caught in adultery to stone her. But he chose mercy and he chose love first.
Right.
And then once she felt that love and she felt like he was like she had it, like he actually loved her.
Interest, yeah.
He actually loved her and he showed that, then he was able to invite her to do better.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point.
Because I've had experiences myself where like people that I know care about me will like tell me that I'm off and it's like a big deal. I'm like, dang, I do need to improve there. Yeah. But if somebody was like, I don't even know them, they've never talked to me, you. They haven't showed me any kind of love, and I hear them criticizing me, I am much less likely to take that criticism seriously.
Yeah, I really like what you said about spending time with everyone, whether they agree with you or not, or whether they're, different views or different culture or whatever, like spend time with people and love them. And then, if there's things that you can do or share with them that enlighten or help their lives and that they can share with you, then all the better, right? So, moral of the story is get to know your neighbor and show some love.
I wasn't expecting us to talk about this after such a dumb movie.
Well, it brought it to mind, and I thought, what a perfect time.
It is a much better thing to talk about.
I think we should still hit on our story questions, though. Whose story is it? What do they want? What do they ultimately need? And does the movie make us care? I'll let you take this one.
It's... What's his name? I don't know the name. Mr. Peterson?
Yeah. Ray?
It's his story. What does he want? He just wants, like, peace and quiet. He actually kind of wants to be the peacemaker. Like your friend who you were debating with. He just wants to let things kind of lie.
Okay. What does he ultimately need to do or become?
He needs to confront the evil neighbors.
Okay. Yeah.
Story does not make me care. I think the one way they could make this movie better, just talking about the actual movie, would be either make it very obvious that they didn't, at the end, make him innocent, and make like the people like in the suburbs actually feel like they had been the ones who were crazy and they were just being judgmental. I think that would have been a better ending. Or they go through all of it and they find a bunch of crazy evidence, but then they blow the house up, and so then no one actually like can find evidence, and then there's like a huge like mystery or whatever. But like then like blowing up the house, not finding anything, and then everything kind of being resolved, and then at the last second finding all of the skulls in the trunk was just like, are you kidding me? This is so stupid. So that's why it didn't make me care.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I could really say anything different for you than you with like the story questions. Definitely Ray's. I think he just wants to have a lazy week off, even though everyone wants him to do something else. Wife wants him to go to the cabin. Neighbors want him to spy on the weirdo neighbors. He's just like, I just want to be a lazy bum. And then I guess he needs to like, he's like too scared to do anything. Like, I don't want to talk to the neighbor. I don't want to like upset anyone. I don't want to like go visit them. Like he doesn't do anything. He doesn't want to investigate, but he also doesn't want to befriend them. Like he doesn't want to do anything. So I feel like he needs to just be a better neighbor.
Yeah,
is what he needs to be. And I don't think he really gets there.
I don't.
It's almost like he doesn't arc really. He just is wacky Tom Hanks.
I mean, yeah, the whole movie is just a mess. It's just a cluster. At the end of it, you're just like, well, glad that's over.
Yeah. Well, is there any favorite parts of the movie when Art steps through the porch and almost breaks through it?
Definitely.
That was just a funny moment.
When the military guy does too, and he drops the brownies on the floor. Again.
And then he still hands the kid the brownies. I will say the military guy is just wacky how blunt he is inside these people's home. He's just like pointing his finger into people's chests.
Listen,
like,
Rube,
yeah,
you know what you're doing.
Why don't we go down in the basement? You got someone locked up down there? It's like, holy shiz. Like, you just made a blunt accusation that they got someone locked up in the basement.
He's funny.
Mrs. Rumsfeld, shout out to her. Everyone knows why. I'm not going to say any more than that. Yeah, but other than that, unless you have any closing thoughts,
I give the movie a 5 out of 10. It's not as bad as The Aviator.
No, that's been our gold standard for just a waste of time.
But
terrible movie.
I never want to watch it again.
I'm gonna go 6 on it. It is very lacking in like the genre / conclusion.
Yeah.
And just overall, like, it's pretty dang cheesy.
Yeah.
I feel like I have just kind of a soft spot for it because I grew up with it, but watching it as an adult, yeah, if I had never seen it before, I think I'd easily be at a 5 with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our scores. Read them and weep. Go join Rumsfeld dropping off the roof if you don't like our scores. But that's going to be it for us on this episode. But if you haven't already checked us out on YouTube at Real Legends Movie Podcast, please do. Any interaction there will help grow the show and help people know about this podcast. And please message us or comment any movies you want us to review, because we've got a list and we'd love to expand it and just have movies that people want to hear us review. We have to actually give our legend or letdown on this one.
Letdown.
Yeah, I would say as a kid, for me, it would have been a legend, but as an adult, it's a letdown.
Yeah.
So I don't think I can give this a legend status. Like, anytime I give a legend is a movie that I would say you should go see and watch. But in this case, a letdown.
Yeah.
So yeah, comment movies you want us to review, iconic movies. That's what the podcast's all about, unraveling iconic movies. And until next time, we'll see you at the cinema concession stand.
Catch you on the flippity flap.